All right, all right. We are live. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's get live here at IG. Oops. Hello, hello. All right. We're live on IG, live on Facebook. How are you guys doing out there on this lovely Tuesday afternoon? Hello, hello, hello. And whatever time it is, no matter where you are. Hey. Hi, Forney. Thanks for jumping on here. All right, all right. So today we're going to have some fun talking about some business tax reporting, very important matters. Of course, if this doesn't happen, there's lots of penalties that's going to be involved. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen, right? We want to make sure we're not throwing away any dollars that we need to keep in our pocket on penalties. So we're going to talk about these business tax reporting, and I don't care how many employees you have in your business, how many subcontractors you have in your business, whether it's one person, we still have to make sure that we do these reporting, and we want to talk about what those things are because the tax season is here. Right now, we want to get a jump start on this stuff and get everything in on time. So we'll talk about what it is that you need, what those things are, where they go, and what those deadlines and everything, so that you cannot make any mistakes with this stuff. It's going to be very, very costly. And one thing we want to do here, again, while we have these sessions, is to make sure we don't throw away any dollars that you make, right? We want to make sure that you keep all the monies in your pocket. All right, so today we're going to talk about business tax reporting deadline for 2022, what those are. And so get a pen, paper, make some notes. You guys hit like and share on this video, get some folks on board so that they can take advantage of this stuff. Again, like I said, I know last year we did, a lot of us had formed businesses. Some of us started our business last year because we had a business idea a long time ago. We needed to get it in place. And some of us were forced to get our business going because of the economy and everything that took place. So a lot of us was forced to get business started. We had formed a lot of LLCs, some S corps, and all different types of corporation, and even operating as an individual sole proprietor. A lot of what we're talking about, guys, when it comes to your business is all important, all relevant. So you don't have to have some huge corporation for it to matter, okay? So we want to make sure that you guys stay in compliance. Thanks for jumping on here on IG. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. So let's just jump right into this today. We're going to talk about the documents, first of all, that are needed for these tax reporting that all business must do. And these things are mandatory. Okay. We're not just, the government just put them out there and says, okay, we need to have this stuff. It is mandatory. Again, there's huge fines and penalties if you don't get these things in on time. Okay. So we want to talk the first point today. Number one is the documents that are needed, to be filed. Okay. And you guys, as business folks, you are responsible to get this in. So first of all, if you had anybody on your payroll, anyone that you've hired as an employee on your payroll, and again, it doesn't matter if they did not work all year. As long as you paid them a check, one check, if they received one payroll check from you where you deducted some payroll taxes from them, you are entitled to give those folks a W-2 form, right? This is a wage and income form that you have to give them for them to be able to file their taxes. So again, they did not have to work all year. If they were there one day, some people have worked 1 week, and it doesn't matter. As long as you wrote them a payroll check and you took some taxes from them, they were on your payroll. You must make sure that you file a form W-2, and you have to get that to them so that they won't have an issue filing their tax return. Okay. So that's the first form we want to talk about. Very importantly, this is the one that most people are looking for, the Form W-2 form. Anyone that has been on your payroll, even if it's for 1 day, make sure that they have a Form W-2. That's the wage and income form. The other set of folks that we generally have are independent contractors. Okay, independent contractors. The form for independent contractors have been switched from a 1099 miscellaneous form to a 1099 NEC form. So guys, if you had anyone working for you last year that you paid $600 or more, okay, so if you had someone that you gave them $150, $200, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to issue one of these forms. But if you paid anyone $600 or more, you must issue them a Form 1099 NEC form. Okay, this form is going to have their information on there, their name, social security number, and or an employer identification number if they have an EIN number, your information. Again, like I was saying with these forms, if you're not a corporation, you don't have a federal identification number, which is the EIN that the federal government issue, it's okay to use your social security number as a sole proprietor on these forms. Okay, you can use your social security number on the form. So their information, your information, how much money you paid them. So if it's $625, that's what goes on that form. If it's $1,000, whatever the amount of money that you paid them, you must have that number on the form so that they can accurately report their income. Okay, very, very, very important, guys. So you have to keep track of this stuff. The next set of forms that you need to file. If you're an employer and you had anyone that you, with the health insurance, which is the Affordable Care Act, any of those form 1099, 1095B, 1095C, which is showing that there's health care that has been paid for these employees. Those forms, of course, you got to give that information to them. You have to file that and give that form to the employees because they need to know, and they will need to know that for when they file their taxes that they did show that they did have health insurance. Okay, so the ACA forms, they're called for the Affordable Care Act, and those are those 1095B, 1095Cs. It shows the health insurance information on those forms. So that's another set of document that must be filed, that is needed year-end stuff for taxes, guys. As an employee, we got to get on it. It's already half of January gone, right? And then most importantly, we talked about anyone that you had on payroll. Most importantly, now you must file those payroll forms. Okay, if you had anyone on payroll that you paid and you gave them a W-2, you should be filing your payroll tax returns. Okay, you should be filing your 941, which is the form that says how many wages and earnings that you paid out to the employees. That's the 941 for the fourth quarter. Those things are filed every 3 months, right? Every quarter. The fourth quarter, you must have that filed, which reports the 941 for the fourth quarter, which is the wages that you paid to anyone that worked for you in the fourth quarter of 2021. And you must file a Form 940, which is an annual federal unemployment form. The annual federal unemployment form is based on the amount of payroll that you pay out. And what you do is you pay in unemployment to the federal government based on the amount of payroll that you pay to your employees. Okay, so those are most importantly. There's a lot of other forms and things that you have to file, but as a small business, guys, if you have any of these things, you have to make sure that you get those all done and filed on time. Hi, Margie. Good afternoon. How are you? Hey, Laverne. Hi, sis. All right. Hey, Diamond Cole, girl, where have you been? How are you? Jamie is here. Happy New Year to you too. Okay. I've seen your message today. All right. So I want to thank all you guys, all the folks over here on IG for jumping on here today. We're talking about the business tax form that all employers, anyone that has operated a business last year, must have filed. Okay, so number one, again, today, those are the documents that are needed to be filed. Okay, so let's move right on to when those forms are due. Very importantly, when those forms are due. So you want to stay ahead of the game, guys. And one way to do this, of course, as a business person, we have done this. We have kept our records. We've kept all our payroll records. We have kept all of our accounting records, right? We have kept all that stuff. We know how much money we pay out to all of our independent help, all the people who have assisted us throughout the year. We know how much money that is. So we already have that information in place. So what we need to do is we have to have those reported, okay? Your W-2s must be given to your employees by January the 31st. Deadline. They have to have those by January 31st. You have to also send the copy of those W-2s to the Social Security Administration office. Those must be filed by January 31st as well. Okay, so for independent contractors, all the people who were independent, they weren't employees, you didn't take out any taxes from them, they have to get those 1099s also by January 31st. And the federal government has to get it also by January 31st. Make a note of these dates again, because deadlines are important. Penalties are there waiting for you if you miss these deadlines. Okay, so We want to be ahead of the game. All right, so we have to have those in by January 31st. Also, by January 31st, your payroll quarterly returns are due. Those 941s. If you had an employee, one employee for one day, you must file this 941 form. Like I said earlier, you must file the 940 form to the federal government, and those are due by January 31st. So make a note of these. Those are due by January 31st, okay? Now, if you are mailing those forms, copies of your W-2s to the federal government, though, I didn't need to say this, you can mail those and they can get them by February the 28th. This is only for the government, but the employee, the recipients, people who you pay that money to, they need to have them by the 31st of January because they need to be able to file their taxes on time. So you can't be late with this stuff. Your payroll forms, get those in on time to the federal government, the 941 and the 940. Make sure that those are filed by January 31st so we don't have any late payment or any late filing penalties on those forms. All right. Now, all the different states, their requirements are different. Their dates are different. There are different forms that are filed with them. Here in California, you got to file what is called a DE9 and a DE9C form by January 31st. That is a list of all your employees, how much money you paid all of them. And it's also a form that tells the state of California how much unemployment you have taken out from these guys and paying that money into the state. Every other state have their own requirement, guys. So make sure wherever you are, check on that and make sure that you get those things in on time. Again, I'm emphasizing, and I always have to say this, penalties is just no joke, and it's just wasted money. We all know that. Hey, Lerner, thanks for jumping on here. I love your hearts. All right. So, yeah, so those are what is needed when those reports are due. One last thing here before I close out, there's a whole lot of deadlines, but let's keep these main ones in place. As a business, if you're a sole proprietor filing a Schedule C, that return is due when you file your personal taxes by April 15th. Okay, so that's when that return is due. If you are an S corporation or an LLC or a partnership, so important, guys. These get huge penalties if they're not filing time. Those returns are due March 15th. Okay, make a note of that. If you have formed an LLC, if you have an S corporation, or if you're in a partnership, you have to file those tax forms by March the 15th, or you need to file an extension. A lot of people miss this, and the S corps and LLC, a huge penalty for every member that's in it. There's a huge penalty for each person, and this could be like that. Okay. That's for the SC. If you have a C corporation, that return is due April 15th. So you don't have to worry about that for March. Actually, this year is April 18th. So if you have a regular C corporation, that's April 18th. When you file your personal return, you can file your C corporate return as well. So those are the deadlines. Make a note of those things. Let's not miss these deadlines, guys. If you're not able to get taxes filed, any of these taxes we talked about, any of your personal income taxes, your S Corp, LLC, your C Corp taxes, let's make sure we get an extension file, which gives us an automatic 6 months to pull all of our documents together. And one other thing here, if you have a nonprofit, that is due by May 15th, guys. Make sure, again, there's penalties there. Make sure, again, that you get an extension if you're not able to file the nonprofit return by May 15th. I'm sorry. May 15th is a nonprofit return, okay? So those are when those tax reports are due. Those are the filing deadline. Make a note of that stuff. Come back on here and take notes again. Listen to this video and make sure that we don't miss it and give away any extra penalty on anything that we don't need to do, okay? Now, on my third point today, guys. Third point today. Hey, Sharon, Alice, thanks for jumping in here. Hi, how are you? Happy New Year to you. All right. So the third point today is where to report these business taxes. Now, this one, a lot of people is always confused about this, right? The W-2s forms, they do not go to the IRS, guys. As a business owner, like I said, if you have one person to work one day, you have a W-2 form, it goes to the Social Security Administration office. Okay, that's who gets W-2. The IRS doesn't get the W-2. The Social Security Administration office get the physical W-2. So make sure that you don't send it to the wrong place, because again, if it goes to the wrong place, you could possibly be late filing it, because of course it didn't get to where it needs to go. Okay, so W-2 forms, copies of those go to Social Security Administration office. 1099s goes to the IRS. All your federal payroll quarterly returns, year-end tax returns, and 941 and 940, those go to the IRS. Everything else can go to the IRS, but the W-2 specifically is going to Social Security. Okay, so those that's what I really wanted to make sure. And a lot of times people are making mistakes because they're sending the federal forms and the federal tax returns and federal reporting. They send them to the state address. And some people, vice versa, they send the state stuff to the federal. And of course, they can't process it. So what they'll do is, you're thinking that it's gone. You're thinking that you sent it in on time. You're thinking that it's getting filed. However, you will get a return address maybe with something in it, sending it back to you because it went to the wrong place. Now, I've seen tax filing being late. I've seen payments being late because the federal information went to the state, or the state information went to the federal. So be very, very careful, guys, when you're sending these things out, to make sure that you are sending them to the correct place, or you will be late. You will be late. Okay. So, so that's what happened. All those forms, that's where they go. 1099 miscellaneous forms. The NEC is for the contractor. The miscellaneous, if you had like paid rent or something like that, those goes on a miscellaneous form. And that form, of course, goes to the federal government. All right. So I don't want to inundate you with too much, but these are the most important. And any business owner that's out there, whether you're a self-employed business, you are doing a sole proprietor, or you're forming an LLC, S Corp, or a C Corporation, this is super important to you guys. I'm going to recap these points one more time. All right. So today, guys, business tax report deadline 2022. Make sure we don't miss this. Let's start off the year right, because I said this year we're going to make a whole lot of money in our businesses, right? We're going to save a whole lot of the money that we do make on taxes, and definitely on penalties and interest. Okay. So first point, what documents are needed? The W-2s, very important. The employees, recipients, got to get those W-2s. And they have to have them to file their taxes. So you must have those done, even if there's one person that worked for you for one day. And this is the wage and income statement. 1099, if you have some independent person working for you, a 1099 NEC, which is a form that shows their information, your information, and how much money you paid them. Have to have that. If you had an employer-related Americans Opportunity Care Act for the health insurance, those forms, you get that to them. Those 1095 A's and B's, 1095 C's, you have to get those forms to them if you have that in your employment. And payroll-related tax forms, the 941, which is the quarterly tax returns, the 940, which is the year-end tax returns. Guys, make sure those things are done. It's work on all that stuff now. It's try to get it all done now, because when is the report? When is those taxes due? Number 2 point, when they're due, January 31st, W-2s, 1099, your 941's payroll form, the 940, January 31st, all that stuff is due to the recipient. And when it comes to the IRS, that stuff is due to the IRS. If you are mailing the W-2s at 940, you can send those, the W-2s and the W-3s, those could be sent to the IRS by February the 28th. Now, you guys make sure that this stuff is done on time, right? And where to report, number 3, this is key. W-2s go to Social Security, and the other form, 1099, the 940, 941, all those other forms goes to the Internal Revenue Service, okay? And then check with your state and find out where all the state forms goes and what forms are required to be reported to the states. Wherever you are, make sure you check that stuff and get this right. We're going to get this right because we're going to save money. No more interest and penalties for this year, right? You guys are with me on that. I want you guys to hit like on this video. You guys are with me this year. This is the year we have said we made a promise to ourselves. We're not going to pay late payment penalty on anything. this year, right? We're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. All right. So with that said, that's it for me, guys, on your business forms and reporting. Again, it doesn't matter how huge of a business you're running, as long as you have any of these people are working for you, any of these things in place to report to the government. And next thing, you must get your taxes filed on time. As a sole prop, that's April 15th. As an LLC, partnership, S Corp, March 15th, or an extension. As a C corporation, that is April 15th or April 18th this year, or an extension. So make sure we don't miss those, right? So with that said, that's it for me today, guys. I will see you guys back here on Thursday. And Thursday, we are going to be talking about documents that you are going to need to file your personal taxes. All right, documents that we're going to need to file your personal taxes. Very important because there's some new things that happened, new changes last year. You guys got a lot of stuff took place, stimulus checks, all kinds of things, advanced child taxes, a lot of stuff that took place. So you guys need to know what documents you needed to get your taxes filed. You want to file them on time. If you got money coming back, you want to make sure you get that money so you can do something with it that's going to benefit you. The government is not going to give you any interest on it. So you want to make sure you get that money on time. All right. So I will see you guys back here on Thursday at 1 p.m. Hit like and share on this video. Make sure all your friends get involved. And we can reach us here at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting for all of your tax and accounting needs at 323-290-9034, or go to probystax.com. We have a secure website that you guys can upload all your documents. Everything is done remotely. You do not have to come into the office. We can do the taxes anywhere you are in the US of A, and some people who is not even in the country. We can get all your taxes filed remotely. Everything is done electronically, automatically, e-deposit, all that good stuff. You don't even have to come to the office. So we can get it all done for you no matter what state you are. Okay. So Margie said, thanks, Elaine. All right. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I want to thank all the people over here on IG, all the folks that tune in today. I appreciate you guys. And with that said, I want you guys to have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. And you guys take care of each other and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.